Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Kaveri Karhade and I'm so excited to welcome you to Glow Big or Go Home in partnership with Popsugar and Hawaiian Tropic. Today, our live show is all about skincare. We'll talk about how your skin type impacts your sun care, give you down and dirty tips for healthy skin, dispel some misconceptions and trends out there, and learn how to put together a flawless, made-for-summer look in minutes while staying protected on sunny days. And to do all of that, I've invited some experts to join me. Let's meet them. These three ladies are not only passionate about skincare, researching and trying out products on their own, but they've dedicated their social media channels to educating their audiences about their findings. Can you ladies tell us your name, where you're from, and a little bit about your passion in skincare?
Hey, I'm Jazz. I'm from North Carolina, and I'm passionate about debunking skincare myths and talking about skincare misconceptions. And I'm really excited to be here today to just talk about skincare in general.
Hi everyone, my name is Karen Wu. I'm a nice Karen, I promise, and I'm from Los Angeles, California, and I'm super passionate about affordable and accessible skincare.
Hi, my name is Shannon. I'm from Las Vegas, Nevada, and I am passionate about skin science and wellness.
Thank you everyone. Welcome today. Really excited to have you on the show.
Super excited to be here.
And as a board-certified dermatologist, I'm always interested in what's being shared on the internet, what people are talking about, and really finding a way to get the right information out there. And I think social media is the perfect tool to do so. Later on, we'll invite viewers to comment questions that we'll answer right here live. So stick around for our live skincare Q&A. But first, I wanted to bring us back to the basics because everyone can use a refresher on Skincare 101. So let's kick things off with a pop quiz. Is everyone ready?
Yes, let's do it.
Right. First question is, what's the difference between UVA and UVB?
I like to think of UVA as UV aging, UVB as UV burn.
I like that. That's good.
That's a good method.
Yeah.
I love your expression there with UV aging because a lot of people think of UVA as contributing more to skin aging and UVB as contributing to burns or skin cancer. So I'm happy to shed a little bit of light on the science of it. So we are familiar with visible light. Technically speaking, that's 400 to 700 nanometers of wavelength. UV is 290 to 400. And so UVA and UVB are just subdivisions of that. The reason it matters to some extent is because UVA is the side of that that's closer to visible light, and so some people think of it as not that bad for you. And UVB is the side that's closer to the X-ray part of the spectrum. So people think of it in terms as more likely to cause skin cancer. The reality is that both can actually contribute to both, and so I think the bottom line is focusing on something that covers for both UVA and UVB. Okay, moving on. What does broad spectrum really mean?
Does it mean that it covers both UVA and UVB?
That's exactly right. Yeah. So my perspective, broad spectrum is important because we want to cover for that entire range of UV. Right. Yeah. So we can get both UVA and UVB. So mineral sunscreens by nature cover for both of the both UVA and UVB. And chemical sunscreens, it's why you usually see a list of a couple of different ingredients because by mixing and matching a few of those ingredients, you can really get broad spectrum coverage. How much SPF do you actually need?
Isn't it like supposed to be 30, I think?
You are so right. That's exactly right. I usually tell my patients SPF 30 or higher. The reality is most of the studies were done with SPF 15, which to kind of define what that even means, sun protective factor or SPF basically refers to how long it takes for your skin to burn with sunscreen versus without. So ideally, it's actually SPF 15 or higher, but that's with using the right amount. So the right amount is 2 fingers or a 1/4 teaspoon. Most people probably use less than that, actually about half of that. And so to make up for that difference, I usually say SPF 30 or higher. And then this one, I'm really excited to hear from the three of you on. How long should you wait to do your makeup after applying sunscreen?
I always wait at least 10 minutes.
10 minutes?
At least.
Okay.
I don't think I have like a set time, but I usually go off of like how it feels on my face.
Okay.
I want to say like, yeah, maybe a few minutes, like 5.
That's kind of what I do too,
Yeah.
just kind of how it feels.
Yeah.
But that's interesting.
I basically just do my skincare and I'll wait 5 minutes just to really let it set in, and then I'll do my makeup. So it's usually 5 to 10 minutes after SPF.
All right, well, it looks like you all three know your stuff so well. I'm really excited to move on. So I want to talk about how our skin type can impact how we protect ourselves from sun damage. tell me a little bit about your skin type, Jazz.
Yeah, so I have very dry skin type. Sometimes in the winter it'll get a little flaky. I would say I also have dehydrated skin. So I definitely look for products that are moisturizing, very hydrating. I like oils. Yeah, just products that I know are gonna provide some relief to my dry skin.
Yeah, so I actually have an oily T-zone and normal everywhere else, so combination. And I think I'm a little bit opposite from you because I look for a sunscreen that isn't as oily or hydrating because I feel like it gets really heavy on my skin. So I usually go for the lighter formulas, lighter textures.
I have really dry skin and I'm extremely acne prone. I'm actually pregnant, so I am breaking out a little bit right now, but
Congratulations.
thank you. I'm also really prone to milia, so I tend to like more hydrating, thicker sunscreens that won't cause milia for me. Sometimes I'll just layer like a bunch of hydrating serums and essences before I go in with my moisturizing product, and that usually is my sunscreen at the end.
Amazing. Yeah, we have quite the range of skin types here. Myself, I'm pretty oily, and so I tend to try to minimize the number of products going in my skin. But interestingly, in society, you know, we talk about skin types like dry, combination, oily, but in the medical world, what skin type means to us is really a propensity to burn versus tan. So we have these 6 major categories of skin types, 1 through 6, where 1 is a person who would only burn when exposed to the sun and not tan, all the way to 6, which is primarily tans, not burns. And the point that I want to make with that is it's actually important for all skin types to wear sunscreen every day. Not just the people who have lighter skin tend to burn easily and maybe more prone to skin cancer, but even people with darker skin types are prone to skin damage, and so sunscreen is important for all of us, oily or dry, or darker or lighter. Shannon, I would love to hear from you a little bit about your thought on chemical versus mineral sunscreens. What do they first of all mean, and what do they mean to you?
I used to use a lot of mineral sunscreens because I thought that was like the gold standard, and like I know that it's good for acne prone skin and like sensitive skin. So I started using mineral sunscreen. Mineral is zinc oxide, titanium dioxide based sunscreens. They tend to leave a little bit of a white cast, so it's a little bit hard to find that one right mineral sunscreen, which is why I sometimes gravitate towards chemical. But you know, the best sunscreen for you is always the one that you're going to wear. So
I love that. I say that all day long. I love that so much.
I love saying that to my followers. But chemical sunscreens, they tend to be invisible on the skin. I don't know if they protect better. I heard that they do.
It kind of just depends on what SPF number you're using and how thick of a layer you're applying. And so in general, planning to apply before sun exposure and every 2 hours if you're going to be in the sun, and then making sure to apply enough. So a 1/4 teaspoon is what's needed for the full face. I think in terms of protection, chemical and mineral tend to be approximately the same. Next up, let's talk about non-negotiables when it comes to skincare. What can you not live without? Shannon, let's start with you.
Always sun protection.
Always comes back to the same thing.
It's the #1. For me, like I have super acne prone skin, so I always find myself using some type of exfoliating product, whether, it's retinol or an exfoliant like mandelic acid. Mandelic is my favorite. So I would say that that's like my non-negotiable besides sunscreen.
For me, it is face wash and also sunscreen. Protected during the day, and then I feel like it's just a nice indicator for me, for like my face and body to just wind down from the day when I wash it. So those 2 for sure.
So definitely SPF and just double cleansing. So I would love an oil cleanser and a regular water cleanser. And then I feel like my face is just clean. It's protected during the day, like she said. It's like the perfect trio.
What about trends in skincare these days? Are there things that you have tried that seem to work for other people or not so much for you? Shannon, how do you feel about that?
Yes, I really do not like glycolic acid.
Tell me more. Why is that?
I have super sensitive skin to glycolic acid. It irritates my skin. I can't use it as much as, say, mandelic acid.
I was going to say, you mentioned mandelic as being a
Mandelic
favorite.
is my favorite acid. I feel like I can use it every day.
That's amazing. And what do you like about it?
It is so gentle, like super, super gentle. You can't even tell that it's like an exfoliant because you won't feel it like burning your face. It's super hydrating, it's antibacterial, it helps with acne, it helps with hyperpigmentation. So it literally does the exact same thing as glycolic acid, except
just
way gentler and better for my skin type.
That's amazing.
a trend that didn't work for me is like the heavy exfoliants.
Oh,
So the
okay.
chemical peels that you just
Okay.
leave on your face for like
Sure.
6 minutes. My skin does not like those very aggressive treatments.
I think exfoliating can be important to help brighten the skin and really help get rid of those dead cells. But I also think one has to be careful not to overdo it. And so personally, I'm in favor of chemical exfoliants, which I know a lot of people aren't a fan of the word chemical these days, but they can be gentle, like mandelic acid, like you mentioned, or things like retinols. I'm in favor of those over physical exfoliants. So I just really don't like the harsh scrubs and the walnut shells because they can be a little bit harsh on the skin, especially when you start applying pressure with your fingertips. I think that can sometimes be a little bit too much of a good thing. Well, I feel like we're getting to know so much about each other, and we have a lot of similarities and also differences, so that's really, really exciting. So we've talked about a lot of fun topics, from sun care to skincare routines. Now we get to hear from you. The comments are open and our experts are ready to answer your questions. Ladies, while we wait for those questions, do you have any questions for me?
I actually do have a question. So we've talked a lot about how SPF is important, but nowadays you see a lot of makeup incorporating SPF into their like ingredient list. What do you think about that? Is that fully effective? Can I use that instead of SPF, or should I use both of them together?
That is a perfect question, and the answer really is in the amount. So most people aren't using the amount of makeup that you would need to use to get proper coverage of a sunscreen. So I usually recommend using a sunscreen first, and then if you have a makeup product with SPF in it, it's a little bit of a bonus.
I'm gonna expose myself here in front of a derm, but I actually have never used retinol or retinoids simply because, like you mentioned, it is a little bit intimidating.
Yeah.
I want to ask you, as a
Yeah.
board certified derm, like
Yeah.
how to approach it.
For our viewers at home, let's just go over what retinoids even are. So first of all, retinols are just a weaker version of retinoids. So retinols are what you can get over the counter. It's a great starting place for a lot of people, or it's good for people with sensitive skin that tends to get dry, because the tricky part about retinols or retinoids is simply that everybody's skin gets dry and irritated to it. So the main thing about retinoids or retinols is that they really help to gently exfoliate the skin. They help to unclog pores. They even help with things like fine lines. And so as a category, retinoids are a cult favorite category for dermatologists in general. Starting with a regular over-the-counter retinol is a great starting place because you can never start too gentle. The worst that's going to happen is you'll be able to tolerate it every single night. And if that happens and you're interested in getting more benefit, then considering cosmetic use of a prescription strength retinoid would be suitable. Okay, so we have some questions coming in. Our producers have them up on the screen here, so let's get started. How do you layer sunscreen and makeup? I think that's a better question for our guests here. Does anyone want to tackle that one?
So you obviously start with, or the way I do it is I start with my skincare routine. So you use your cleanser, your serums, your moisturizers and oils. Your SPF should always go last, and then wait a couple minutes and then apply your makeup over, and that's pretty much it. When you reapply, you can use one of the SPF sticks, you can use one of the powders with SPF in it, but for the most part, it's just always remember SPF goes last and then your makeup goes on top.
I love that. That's kind of what I do too, so I'm glad to hear you say that. Which skincare products do you splurge on, and which can be more affordable? Karen, I feel like you're the perfect person to answer this question.
For the splurge, I would say serums for me. I love serums. I think a lot of serums have like those active ingredients like the acids. And then there's affordability for moisturizers, I think is, you know, super important, and also sunscreens. I have so many affordable sunscreens that I think it's not necessary to shell out a bunch of money for a specific skincare product. I'm always gonna be more on like the accessible, affordable side of skincare.
And I fully agree with that. I think there's this misconception out there that to get good skincare, you have to spend a ton of money, but the reality is you can get great protection and prevention and management of your skin without spending a ton of money. And I think it's important too, because sunscreen, you just need so much of it. So I actually love this Hawaiian Tropic waitlist face for that. I've probably used more than half of it in the last couple of weeks just because I use it so much. And so I think it's important for it to be affordable and not very expensive. What tips do you give patients who don't want to use sunscreen because it messes up their makeup? I do think sunscreen is so important that it's not really a choice. Do you want to wear sunscreen or not? I think that in today's world, we have so many cosmetically elegant options for sunscreen. In fact, a lot of sunscreens today are more cosmetically elegant than a lot of makeups that can go on cakey. So I think doing your best to get some sort of sun protection on underneath your makeup is best, and then touching up with brushes and sprays as needed.
I think my biggest tip for that is to, if you really are against SPF, then find a makeup primer with SPF.
That's a great
tip. There are
tip.
a ton out there, and
That's a great tip.
your makeup will go on smoothly, and you'll still have your SPF.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have another question coming in. How do you feel about slugging? I love talking about these skincare trends. Does somebody want to take this one?
Slugging is the concept of putting petrolatum, like Vaseline, as your last step of your skincare routine to seal in moisture as an occlusive. It's not my favorite thing to do,
And why is that?
It just feels really gross.
Does anybody like slugging? Anybody a fan?
Do.
Okay, tell me about your
I
experience.
I have dry skin, so anything to soothe my dry skin, and that has actually helped me so much. I just feel like it kind of just like replenishes, and just like my skin is just fresh the next day.
Okay, how important is reapplying sunscreen actually? Okay, so this is a really good question. I get this a lot from a lot of my patients. What I generally say is, one, it depends on what SPF number you're using. So if you're using an SPF 15, again, most people only apply about half the amount that they need to be applying. So actually you're getting half the SPF, which means you gotta reapply twice as frequently. So if you're using the adequate amount, which is about 1/4 teaspoon, I would say apply it before sun exposure, and then if you're going to be in the sun, every 2 hours. So for example, if I were to be out at the beach all day, I would definitely reapply every hour to 2 hours, and I would actually plan not to wear makeup so that I could reapply a proper layer of sunscreen. Okay, I think that's all the time we have for questions today. Stick with us as we move on to our beauty challenge. Here's the deal. I'm gonna have you all put together makeup looks for different sun-specific occasions, but you only have 3 minutes to get them done. I'm gonna come around to make sure you're staying on track and well protected from the sun. Ladies, will you join me at the makeup station? Sure, let's go. Okay, ladies, we're gonna start our beauty challenge. You all have fresh and clean faces. Make sure to include some sun care into your look. So Jazz, let's plan for you going to a backyard barbecue. Karen, put on a makeup look for a trip to the farmer's market. And Shannon, let's plan for a last-minute patio brunch. Okay, we're gonna get started. I'm gonna get my timer out. Here we go. Ready? 3, 2, 1, go. Everybody is getting their makeup products out and working fast. Karen, tell me a little bit about the sunscreen product that you chose.
Yes, so I'm putting on the Hawaiian Tropic Weightless Face, and I'm just mixing it in with all my complexion products since we're in a rush.
And I see some more sunscreen here. Tell me a little bit about why you picked this product.
I love this product because for just like a natural skin finish, it leaves such a nice natural glow, and it doesn't leave a white cast, and it goes great under my makeup.
Okay, ladies, we have 2 minutes left on the clock. 2 minutes. Shannon, tell me what you're doing with your look now.
I'm gonna put sunscreen actually as the last step with the powder. And I usually let my sunscreen set for about like 5 to 10 minutes, so.
Interesting, well, it's nice to see different techniques.
Yeah.
Clock is ticking. You ladies are doing a great job. I know it's a short time. So is this something that's part of your typical routine?
Definitely when I'm in a rush.
When you're in a rush,
I don't
okay.
have time to grab tools, so I just use my hands for
That's perfect.
the complexion.
Okay. And what are you applying at this point, Jazz?
Tinted moisturizer with SPF, just because I know I'm gonna be outside all day, and I want my skin to be protected. So
Amazing.
using extra SPF, and it blends in really easy too.
Okay, we have 1 minute left on the clock. 1 minute. Tell me what you're doing with your look here.
I'm just applying a little bit of mascara,
Okay,
and then I'm gonna finish off with some sunscreen.
amazing. And then Shannon, what step are you at?
I am currently doing the blush because we want a nice sun-kissed
I
look.
love that, planning to be outside.
Yes.
Everybody's working so fast here.
I'm trying to.
You're doing a good job. How's it going? What are you applying now?
Now I'm doing bronzer.
Bronzer, okay.
Just some last minute touches. And I'm about to do my last step here,
And what is that?
which is just mascara. So I'm curling my lashes.
Perfect. Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Brushes down, time's up. Okay, let's head back to the couch so we can discuss your looks. Okay, we are back from our beauty challenge. I'd love to hear a little bit more about your makeup looks.
Since I'm gonna be at a barbecue all day, I started off with SPF, and then I went in with the tinted moisturizer, and that also had SPF in it to protect me against the sun further. Then I did concealer just to look bright and awake, and then I did tinted blush for the sun-kissed look, and then I did mascara, and yeah, that's pretty much all I did.
For me, I went to the farmer's market and I mixed all of my complexion products together. So the Hawaiian Tropic Weightless Face Sunscreen, my foundation, and a little bit of liquid highlight. So mix it all in the back of my hand. Then I topped it off with a lot of blush because I love a sun-kissed look, and a little bit of lip gloss.
So I went to a brunch, and for this look, I decided to go really simple, as I normally do. I did my eyebrows. I can't leave the house without mascara. And then I did some lip gloss, and then the Hawaiian Tropic translucent powder in SPF 30.
That's amazing. And I mean, all three of you look so gorgeous. I can't believe you accomplished that in just 3 minutes and remember to put your sun care in there. All right, well, we've had some great conversations today about skincare and sun care. I want to say thank you to Hawaiian Tropic. Thank you to Jazz, Karen, and Shannon for joining us today. And thank all of you for joining us as we all learn a little bit more about skincare. I'm Dr. Karhade. Thanks for watching.